Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Andrews and Eastern. As we left off, it's about mid-morning. We've been running trains for a bit. Our passenger train is on its way back to Andrews. We've got a freight waiting for us in Nantahala. Ben's getting the pulpwood ready. 34 is heading up with the big power to go to the mine. And pretty soon, 601's going to be ready to get that freight train rolling back. Now, as with previous wrecks, that train will be limited to 15 miles an hour, so it's going to take a couple sessions to get it home. But once it's clear, we'll be able to extend the line a bit more. Let's take a moment first, and we'll get number 10 ready. And then we'll go work on the rescue train. Good on. Ooh, they've upgraded things. Alright, I want you to grab a couple more of these cars before you head back. I think I'll just have you grab 12 for now, and maybe I'll do an afternoon run. And we can get more. .34 is pretty close to where it needs to be. Yep, and I think 34 is actually going to stop and back itself up the branch. That is good. It probably seems underpowered now, and it will be until it reaches Nantahala again. But once it's reached Nantahala, you'll see why we have so much power. Alright, so we'll grab these two. You head back to Topton. Is this working through? Oh, hey, that does work in first-person mode. Imagine that. And now while you're doing that, let's head over to our train wreck. That's not what I wanted. Oh, I'm over here somewhere. So as you can see, this train was heading down the hill when the last railroad abandoned it. That is a very toasted C-55. Looks to be an empty, mostly empty tender. Bunch of empty gondolas. We're gonna have to... That one we can keep. That one we can keep. Those two have to go home. That one has to go home. That one's ours. That one's ours. That one's ours. That one I don't think we'll be able to keep. And a charter caboose. We'll want that. So, let's start by just getting all this back on the track. This is definitely a lot of train we're going to have to bring back. I'm not sure what the actual weight on it is. Okay, you are fine. And this also, of course, means we've got a lot of stuff we're going to need to repair. I wonder if I can store some of this in the interchange yard. That would help. Not, I might just store some of this down in the Snowbird paper yard. Alright. We do have a C-46 for this task. It's gonna help. Grab that. Grab our engine. Don't think we got all of them. Need to pull away and then hit the rest. There we go. Now, the cars we have are going to be ones that we can sell. I do want to cut you out. Why are you bleeding air? Are you just that toasted? I think you're just that toasted. Must have broken something on the brake line. So I don't see any other way to fix that. Do I have to climb into the cab? Can I even climb into the cab? Let's go around. No, it's just being weird. Maybe I have to do... cut you out. No? Let's cut you back in. And I think that's about as good as we'll get it. Alright. I just want you to run at 15 miles an hour, dead ahead. Check turnouts. Fine. Fine. $613 tons. And we will probably make you... We're probably gonna have to stop at Almond for water. Well, let's see. Toast. 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 Mostly toast. Toast. Decent. Pretty good. Decent. Decent. Toast. 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 And of course our engine is just dead. We're gonna need a lot of repair parts for all this work. Alright, let's set up to the mine. So you've dropped your cars. Apply a couple handbrakes. And now let's run you. Head down to this end of the train. whistle I put on it. I don't remember what whistle that was. Santa Fe 6, okay. Speedy boy. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you go down to the Y, turn yourself around, and then head back going forwards. And since I think I also want you to be ahead of the other train, no point in slogging behind it, we'll make the other train stop there. And 10 can wait for a second. I do like this update. Don't know what else was in it. In terms of money, we are in serious debt. So let's reduce that debt a bit. Definitely takes a while to pay down the debt, huh? Especially when you take more out. So any other industries where we can tier things up? I don't think so. No. So we get that. Release, release, release. And run yourself down to the Y. And we can have you turn yourself there. Alright. Go find you. Let's find this engine. Select. Uncouple, and you need to head back down for another load. Okay, we did get some money at Almond. And I think we probably still have switching to do in Nantahala, or in back at Paperboard. Okay, that's right. We also have to, you need to do some switching. Well, let's have you go do some switching, and we'll go do it with you for now, for a moment. Let's keep an eye on these two trains. Once 34 is ready, we'll get it turned around. This train can't really go up the hill until 34 is present. One moment. I think I can do this. 601. Inspection panel, select, pass the fancy. Forgot about that. So now let's reselect this. We're going kind of fast. For those of you in the Northwest, this past weekend we had the United Northwest Model Railroad Club's train show in Monroe, Washington. That was a lot of fun. I was there with the ON30 Club, ran a bunch of trains, saw a lot of layouts, bought a little bit of stuff, had a blast. Did discover one issue. You might recall I mentioned in a previous stream, and on one of my shorts, I got a GE 50-ton model, ON30. It's pretty big. Doesn't fit through the tunnel on the club layout. It's not by much, it's just the little sun visors above the cab window hitting the tunnel supports, but it's enough. So, well, it obviously needs paint. I kind of want to get a better decoder in it. We'll see what happens when I take it apart to paint it. But I'm not entirely sure it's going to come to another show. Well, Might come to the show, but I don't know if it's going to actually see much use. It is good to use as long as the tunnel's in a place where I can still access one of the branch lines. And since we've started transitioning to a 3-yard system, it does give me some opportunities to use it between 2 of the yards at least. Alright, so we got 1 pickup and 1 drop off. And I'm about to waypoint this thing so I can get the other train turned around. And I did take video at that show, and I will be producing a video for that show eventually. But I don't know when, because I'm kind of busy the next couple days. I'm aiming to have it out by Sunday. Or on Sunday. Something like that. You know what I meant, right? So let's take you off. Set a handbrake just in case. Oh, no. No. That's not what we wanted. Now you. Ooh. This curve does not like this engine. Might have been able to fit the whole train on there. I don't know. Didn't feel like trying. Ten's ready to take one more round back. Actually, how are you doing on wall? I'm gonna have you stop at this standpipe. I'm just gonna jam up this whole railroad. Alright, let's go take care of 10. Go take care of 12. Head back to 34. There's our rescue train. It's about to stop. You take a lot of water. Which, I mean, I guess that was kind of obvious, but still. So let's actually head back to this, to 12 real quick. And our passenger train is through Whitter. And that's right, you're still back there. Whitter? I don't know. I'm not from that part of the country. you back on your train. No, keep going. Keep going. And we'll drop a flare here. Make sure the passenger train stops for water. Back to 34, because yeah, you're done now. Look at all that fire! Once this thing's hooked up, we'll let it get going. The other train get going. Screaming around that curve. Yes, I know, I'm very inconsistent when it comes to my whistles. I'm not sure how Rotor ended up on here twice. Looking at my sound settings. I have to investigate that later. But at least I'm pretty sure I can hear this game. Stream. Alright. You need to go next. You'll be going a lot slower, of course, but you will be going. We'll wait by the switch to throw it back. And where's it? Okay. So Ken's back at Topton. Oh well, it's almost back at Topton. Passenger train's already almost at Hewitt. Got plenty of coal. I don't think I'm too worried about you. But it wouldn't hurt to fill up anyway, so. So you're filling up there. Fast train is through Hewitt. First freight's on its way there. You are there. 10's ready. Once you've filled up with coal, we'll get 10 rolling. And then I guess we go back to 105 for a bit. Our paper switcher is still switching paper. Oh, and while I'm thinking of it, schedule that. One of these days, I'm actually going to remember to do it at a consistent time. Kind of just wanted to empty out that car. Let's get it loaded up again. While you're waiting there, get 10 hooked up again. And your waypoint, I'm going to put you in the yard. Which track is all that on? That mess is all there. So you go there. And while I'm thinking of it, we'll at least get this thing started. So those 4 cars can go there. We can shove this one in, then we'll take all this stuff out. And 30 stop curfews. I know I don't like doing that. Oh, hey look, you got water. Just keep an eye on you then. Switch 30. What? Oh. You weren't supposed to go that way. That back. Okay. Next train shouldn't have any issues. Take that car. This all needs to go on the back of that. Let's go back to 30. Get you rolling again. Do a quick check, make sure I haven't thrown any switches the wrong way. Nope, that's all still good. I'm gonna make them stop off on coal as well. I'm not too worried about hitting the hill running with this shortage boat train, even with that many passengers on it. Of which we'll be picking up 23 more. Now, keep in mind, clearing that wreck gets us to this part of Bryson. But if you want to come over here for a second, it doesn't get us into main Bryson. That track's blocked, that track's blocked, that track's blocked. So much stuff's in the dirt, and most of it is not ours, but we still have to go get it all fixed. Repair parts for ages. Those tracks are blocked. We can't get to these tracks. That stuff is chock full of stuff needing to be fixed. They ran out of parts when they sold the railroad. Anything else in here? Nope. At least these tracks are empty. We can stash some stuff there. But it does mean it's going to be a little harder to serve the oil and the hardwood. And we can't do that until tomorrow anyway. And I think we still need to switch this out, don't we? Yep. I will figure that out in a moment. You are departing. We're gonna follow you briefly. Also, I think I need a... Nope, switch at top and is good this time. Pulpit train is out roading. I think I'm gonna wait for the pulpit train to get in before I tell 105 to get out. See if I got the stop fuse eat in the right spot. That'll work. Alright, let's head back up and look at 105. So now you need to go to... Is there anything else to pick up? There are, in fact, more cars to pick up. Okay, well, guess you can go get more cars. Come back here. Alright, you're full. Highball. Let's go back to Skookum, and I guess we will switch with it for a bit. Okay. Main train is at Almond. Rescue train just went through Brooks. Time to do more switching. You know, these streams would probably be a lot more interesting if I had something to talk about. I guess we could talk for a moment about, I don't know. How about North Star? For those of you who don't know, North Star is a commuter rail operation on the north end of Minneapolis that runs between Big Lake and downtown Minneapolis. It is not a very well patronized system. It had decent ridership before the pandemic, but since then it has plummeted and has not really recovered. Recently, a bill was introduced in the Minnesota legislature to essentially kill the service. And right about the same time, the Minnesota Department of Transportation announced that they were also planning to kill the service and replace it with buses. When you're hauling less than a carload of people per train per day, it might be worth looking into. What's wrong with it? Well, I can't really say. I don't live near Minnesota. You can tell I don't have the accent for it. But my understanding is there's a few big factors. One, Big Lake is just kind of not really anywhere. If it ran to St. Cloud, which is another 25 miles to the northwest, you'd have a good base for ridership. And two, it goes to Minneapolis, but once you're in Minneapolis, you have to rely on the light rail to actually get to, say, St. Paul. There's no connectivity between this system and Amtrak. Amtrak has two trains that stop at St. Paul Union Depot, the Borealis, which terminates there and goes to Chicago, and the Empire Builder, which stops there on its way between Chicago and either Seattle or Portland, depending on which section you're riding. But North Star does not connect to either of those. Now, how hard would it be to have the train stop at Minneapolis, reverse direction, and continue to St. Paul? I don't know. How expensive would it be for said train to also run down to all the way to St. Cloud? Also not sure. But if the will and the money was found for either of those, I think maybe North Star would be on to something. Instead, it's probably going to shut down, and if they sell the equipment, then, well, I guess someone else gets to have some MP36s and bi-levels. I hear you can't get the Bombardier bi-levels anymore after Alstom bought them out, so... That's not what you were supposed to do. Alright, well, let's get this car, retrieve it, head to where it needs to go. Release, forward. I did get those. Pulpwood train is almost here. Now, let's compare... I haven't ridden North Star. I have ridden a little light rail. But let's compare it to, say, I don't know, Front Runner. That's the system I have ridden. That is down in Utah. Operates between Provo to Salt Lake City to Ogden. It is very popular. I've heard it gets about 15,000 riders a day. They're already planning to double track more of the line so they can increase frequencies. They want to extend it south to the town of Payson and north to Brigham City. And at some point, I guess they want to electrify it. In short, Frontrunner looks like it's going to be turning from a commuter railroad, which primarily runs during rush hour, to an actual regional railroad, which has pretty consistent all-day service. As it is, it sounds like it has pretty good all-day service. But this will really let them amp it up. And they also use MP36s and Bombardier bi-levels, so I wonder if they want more. I think they actually sold one of their MP original ones to North Star, so that could be fun. Okay, pulpwood train. I guess you need to stop. Slow. Okay, you can keep going. I'm going to change your waypoint to here so you'll just keep going. And then we need to get all of this taken care of. These cars need to go to Tatham Grain and Seed. And then the cars at Grain and Seed need to head to Interchange. And that pulpwood car in the back needs to be touched up and repaired. I think we'll have time to do that before the rescue train shows up and dumps even more broken stuff in our lap. We've got a lot of different cuts in here. $814 tons. I think we are pushing Little Skookumchuck to its limit. Passenger train is at Topton. Road freight's at Whitter. Rescue train is coming up on Almond. And yeah, I'm gonna tell it to stop at Almond and take water. Come on, Little Skookumchuck. You got this. Don't give up. And yeah, we can't upgrade anything else. Oh yeah, I did get an angry message saying that Hemingway is very mad we're not doing anything with their pulpwood spur. Which means we're going to need to go buy a few more pulpwood cars and send them to the spur. I think we'll do that at the next interchange. Or possibly the next time we have cars heading out to Hemingway area anyway. We might get some in the interchange. So I talked a bit about Front Runner, which is also sort of an example of what you would call through run, where a train, instead of going to a central station, stopping, and then having to turn around and go back the other way, it just keeps on going through. A lot of the Front Runner trains go from Ogden to Salt Lake City and then continue north to, or south to Provo, and then turn around there and continue on back to Salt Lake City to Ogden. And there's a few places where you could do that. There's actually, if you are a subscriber to Railway Age, one of their writers is doing a fun series on that. And I kind of wonder if that would be worth exploring for Sounder, which is, of course, Seattle's commuter rail. Obviously, it has a disadvantage of it relies on BNSF for the majority of its trackage, whereas Frontrunner is within the UP right-of-way, but it is its own separate railroad. And I think I want to cut this. Oh, let's see. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do... just kind of let those things roll for a bit. Well, that car wasn't very good. Because Seattle has two lines on Sounder. They've got the S line, which runs from Lakewood through Tacoma up to Seattle, and the N line, which runs from Everett down through Edmonds to Seattle. South line sees 13 trains each way. Yeah, 13 trains north, 13 trains south, of which 10 are peak direction and 3 are opposite. Which allows them to run the service with, I think, 7 or 8 train sets instead of, full 13. S-Line has 4 trains, running with 4 train sets. It's all south in the morning, north in the evening. In theory, now, this isn't a perfect idea because the S-Line also runs with shorter trains, or with longer trains. The S-Line runs with 5 to 7 car trains at the moment. The N-Line runs with 2 or 3 car trains. Although sometimes on game days they run one with 5. But, in theory, if you were willing to run them a bit longer, you could take one of those N-Line trains, and instead of having it terminate at Seattle, you could then run it south to Lakewood, taking the place of one of the northbound trains. And then it would run back to Seattle to form another round trip. And then in the afternoon, you'd have that train go south from Seattle, terminating at either Seattle or Lakewood or Tacoma. And from there, continue north to Everett for the evening. Because at the moment, Seattle doesn't do any reverse commute trips on the North Line, just the South Line. Would that actually be worthwhile? I don't know, but I think it's a fun idea to explore. Where'd the rest of my train go? I think I actually want you to stop now. Topton got 31 bucks for 9 fares. And since one of our cars needs to go to the shop, let's point that to the shop. Anyway, this has been Commuter Rail Talk with Bandan. So let's see. Trains at Hewitt. It's not going to need to take on water at Nantahala. We'll want it to take on coal. But it's far enough away, I'm not too worried about it for the moment. Hopefully we're about to get a big interchange payoff. Slow that down just a little bit. Make sure we don't absolutely clobber this stuff. Maybe slow it down some more. Yeah. Carefully. Carefully. Can you actually hear anything? I should probably be asking that. Oh, hang on. Yeah, let me check something. Carefully. Carefully. Can you actually hear anything? I should probably be asking that. Oh, hang on. Yeah, let me check something. Carefully. Carefully. Okay, yeah. We do have game audio. OBS is not making that obvious. In fact, it's saying I don't have Railroader audio. Get. Keep shoving. $805 now. I'm going to put a flare down here so that we can figure out what this engine's going to be doing. Passenger train is now at Roto. It's getting close. And other train is at Almond, so I'm going to have to take care of that in a moment. I don't think 601 is going to be taken on water. We do not want you in that track. We want you in that track. And honestly, what I'm probably going to do is kick this car. So that I'm not trying to pull this whole train back up. That'll do. And while you just shove everything else down into here, let's go check on 601. 601 properly? Nope, it's not. Okay. Yeah, you're gone through about half your water. And this is, I think, a good time to stop and see where my character is at. My character... Where the heck am I? My character apparently fell off the train outside Hemingway. Oh look, I'm swimming. Glug, 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 glug. Turn that up. Let's go back into the dance hall car. That's the only way I can think of it. Yes, I know it says wrecking equipment on it. Speaking of which, how are bearings doing? Presumably, while we've been stopped, things have been oiled up. And of course, our toasted equipment's bearings are going to be all the worse. Okay, as you were. You know, let's finally get our big train taken care of. And once again, because the model is so poly heavy, it has despawned. $894 to interchange. Woo! So we'll start by getting you cold up. You did go through a lot of water on the way from the back to the market. But you'll make the hill. I'm confident. While you're doing that, you can shove your train into there. And then what happens next depends on how much coal this thing takes on. If we empty this hopper, I don't think we will, then we'll take it with us. Otherwise, we'll leave it here and the next train can take it home. I don't think we're going to fill it. I'm going to shove you a little more off that switch. We are well over 1,000 tons of train now. We've got 46 plus 85, 131,000 tons? Or 1,000 pounds of tractive effort? I hope that's enough for this hill. I guess we'll find out. Oh, by the way, I hope everyone's not being too badly affected by bad weather in your area. We had a pretty big windstorm come through here. I'm doing fine, but there are areas nearby that are lost power. That real quick. Let's get you back on your train. I keep thinking that's a yellow lining on the firebox, but no, it's actually just insanely bright firebox. Keep shoving. Dunk. Okay, so you're gonna cut out an MU, and you just need to road yourself over the hill, but the other direction. Lots of power! Actually, no, let's go back and watch that for lots of power for a bit. That's thumbnail. Let's see if we can do it. Slowing down a lot. On wood, I think they're gonna make it. So, in the meantime, where are we? We're lost. Set a couple handbrakes on our interchanged train. And we'll tell Skookum to head to the shop. Up, and our pasture train is at Andrews and needs servicing anyway. We'll keep an eye on this. We can see what these two are doing. So I want to service you, pop you in the spur, and then we'll get the passenger train put away so it can start repairing. I think we do want to... I usually try and keep that one repaired between runs. Just keep the passenger rating up. And we need to keep our passenger rating high, because we're certainly not doing that with our safety rating. Hill climber's doing all right. Okay, that's good. Guess what I can do, since we're not going to be here too long, and start loading people up for the next run. Because it'll be less than 2 hours before the next train leaves. We can make it to Hemingway. I think it's an hour and a half is what I've determined. So going off the 4-hour time frame that passengers are willing to wait, we can make it. Not a lot of people to pick up. Once we get to Bryson, we're going to need more passenger cars. And unfortunately, I didn't see any of those good ones wrecked in Bryson. So we're just going to have to buy more. This game's getting expensive, I mean, look at all this stuff we gotta do. So we'll just stuck you there for a sec. And now let's get you rolling back. Hill climbers still climbing the hill. You're just gonna have to wait there for a bit. We're running out of shop space here. That's something else. Once we get to Bryson Yard, we can do a daily train from there to the interchange. Alright. Start with this. We'll apply that. Get you watered up. Bar. Imagine if putting loaded passenger cars on repair tracks lowered your passenger rating. Adam, don't get any ideas. I believe the engines that they had wrecked in Bryson were a Pacific and an 060. The 060 could be a good local switcher. And since we've now technically unlocked it that far, I think we're going to tell Standard Oil and Appalachian to go to Tier 1. And tomorrow, we will get cars for them. And we will have to figure out how to serve them. What's our repair part situation like? We got 70 tons I know we've got more coming in. The pulpwood car is almost done, so we'll kick it over to the other yard pretty soon. All the way to the buffer stop. Come on. There we go. So now we can touch up all of this. Shouldn't take too long or too many parts. And if we look at our map, they are still climbing the hill. You don't even get the sound of the big engine until it spawns in. That's goofy. And our repair train is over at Whitter, so we're actually going to jump over there. Thing's almost ready. It's just slogging its way up the river. It's gonna need help getting over the hill. So this afternoon we'll send a pulpwood train out and it can come help with this. There we go. Pass the switch. You are burning through water. You are conquering this hill. And technically it gets a little easier because as you burn the coal, you use the water, your train gets lighter. Nonetheless, not until we get to top them, and I can be happy about this. And of course, we kind of have to wait for this thing to get down to... Well, I mean, we could skip ahead to the next interchange, but if there's stuff that needs to go out, these are the engines that have to take it. So, no point in interchanging until that point. No point in interchanging until that point. Weird, wacky. Alright, so you could use coal and water, so let's get these serviced up. This thing's going to be going through pulpwood for a while. But we are definitely going to get a bunch more cars for the paper plant in the next interchange. I'm just curious if we're going to get anything for Nantahala or Hewitt, or more likely Rob Gap. And you know, I know that a lot of people have been using mods to add more industries, but the more I watched, or the more I played this playthrough, or watched the big heist streams, the more I don't want to do that. Because at some point, it just gets to be too much. You know? You need way too many people, way too many crews. You can't service everything. Yeah. And that's why I don't think I'm going to mod in more industries. I might, well, if something comes available for Unity Mod Manager, I might try, like, 1 or 2. And then knock back a couple of the existing industries, like this one. Because that's barely worth serving. Overall, I'm kind of satisfied with what we've got. big train's still fighting the hill. Turn on our rear jet light. I know the reverser doesn't actually move, but it is nice to hear the sound. Alright, they're almost over the hill now. And honestly, I think once this thing's thirsting away, we'll end the stream. Because it's just going to be a waiting game. And I don't think all of you want to watch a waiting game. That was correct, right? And then next stream we'll pick it up with these guys coming in, getting the interchange sorted out, and sending another train away. Which might turn into a switching fest, but who knows. I wouldn't say this one's running low on coal, but it's using more than I anticipated. Probably because I was not having trains fill up in Nantahala, so they wouldn't be taking extra weight up the hill. Oh, and they must be over the hill, because now they're picking up speed. Picking up coal and we're picking up speed. Shovel as much as the engine needs. Except we're not going to Frisco Bay. I'll just coast into here. You know, I think let's go into the settings real quick. I'm gonna turn down that wear and tear rate. That's just getting a little ridiculous. Keep the rest the same though. Well, no, actually we'll keep that up. Oh, we don't want to break the car we just fixed. Oh no, it's still being fixed, but it's almost done. It's pretty much done. Alright, well, that pretty much does this. So we're going to close watching this train head down the hill once it, respawns. And once again, we should be back next week, and we'll be doing another stream. Now, I am still interested in doing Infinite Rails, showing that off. It's a fun little game. Demo just came out last week? Week before? Fun little game. Probably worth playing, so we might look at that at some point. But until then, we're going to call this a stream. Thank you all for watching. Have a good night.